The way that we're raising the roof is probably the wrong way. It's Roof Raise Day!
Or week, or month. This project, in its entirety, took almost 3 months.
Yeah, we were waiting on weather, we were waiting on other people to come help us, and we were waiting for materials, so it ended up taking a while.
Warning, we have 0 construction experience, and we are not professionals.
What we did was a lot of research. We checked around, we looked at a lot of videos, read forums, asked for advice. So what you see here is what we found to be our best method, but you need to check things out for yourself and figure out the way you want to do things.
Step 1 of raising the roof was removing all the rivets from the bus.
We ended up using an air chisel, which is like a little jackhammer thing attached to an air compressor. It worked out really well once we figured out the right way to use it. We ended up kind of just cutting the heads of the bolts off and popping them out. So there's 2 basic kinds of rivets. There's solid rivets and there's pop rivets. Pop rivets have a little circle in the middle, and so we used that same jackhammer thing and just popped it out.
Woo! You got me!
I got you?
You're like a little bullet got me.
Step 2 of our roof raise was installing the lifting system.
And a huge thank you to my cousin Sam, who came out to help us with welding.
Here's what the finished brackets look like. We have 1 in each corner.
And we'll explain a little bit later how the system works. Step 3 of raising the roof was by far the scariest part of the whole project, cutting the bus in half. It was so nerve-wracking.
And thankfully, Denae's dad came out to help, and I don't know if we could have done it without him. We had every single cutting tool you can imagine, and they all kind of sucked. They were all bad tools, so it was a tough project. There were some tricky spots, but thank goodness for him.
And it was super cold and windy, which didn't help at all.
You holding it up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's actually standing still. Staying. Whatever. Probably because it's still connected.
Yep, it was still connected. The whole back part of the bus, where we popped all the rivets out, unfortunately, it didn't work, and it was still connected somewhere, so we had to cut it.
Look at that total hack job. We're probably going to pay for that later.
But the bus is officially in two. It's still standing. No one was hurt. The bus is not a convertible. It was a win all around. And now, the moment you have been waiting for. It's Raise the Roof Day!
What? Thanks for joining us. We're here to raise the roof today. It was an epic battle trying to get the entire roof cut off. We thought we had everything removed, and we just had to keep on cutting. And finally it popped up. So, we're ready to actually lift it.
We chose a cold morning.
Yeah,
There's still frost on everything.
It's 35 degrees right now. No big deal.
We've got 3 hours to do it before our welder, which is my cousin, is going to come weld in our support system. And let's actually show those right now.
Oh, yeah. We have these fabricated at our local steel fab shop. This is a hat channel, for those who don't know. And it's designed to fit right on top of the existing ribs. And so this will sit on top of there, and then we'll weld them all in place. So this is our roof raising system. You know, you see all sorts of different systems out there. I thought this was the simplest system. We saw it on someone else's video, and so it made sense to me. Basically, 2 pieces of angle iron kind of welded in here, and then this 3/4 inch thread rod with 3 nuts. These top nuts are kind of locked in place so that shouldn't move, and then we just spin this nut down here, and that spinning will drive the rod through and raise the roof.
Now you've seen that. We've got 3 hours to raise the roof, so we're going to crank some tunes. We're going to do it. Here we go, right now. 1, 2, 3.
We are at like 18 inches.
So step 5 is reskinning the bus, or putting on new sheet metal on the outside. This was by far the hardest project that we've done, and there was a lot of colorful language that we used.
This project completely tested our communication as a couple. There was lots of tears, a few fights. It was not good.
We started at the back. We figured if we made any mistakes, it would be less visible and less noticeable back there.
We sure did make a lot of mistakes, so it's probably good we started in the back.
We started using the giant sheets of metal, the biggest that we could find, and we figured we could kind of bend it around the corners, and that did not work. So we ended up kind of chopping it into sections and doing one piece at a time.
We have not done very many videos of the reskinning process. Now that I think we have our method, it's going to work. But as you can see, we're starting to get one of the panels, the very first side panel, done. How exciting is that? We're finally... Colin just asked me if I feel like the walls are closing in around me, and I said yes, and it feels amazing.
Unfortunately, we had a huge camera malfunction during the reskinning process of our bus. Instead of awesome footage of us putting the new metal on, we have 3 hours of this.
Okay, which one, Dad?
We did save this, and this is a quick little walk around of the bus after we have a lot of metal up.
We have a lack of footage of this project, so let's chat a little bit about our experience reskinning the bus. We used over 1,000 rivets to reskin the bus, and it took forever. We also went through 3 rivet guns. We bought a really good one at the start. It ended up breaking because we used it so much, and then we bought 2 really cheap ones. And they didn't work very well.
No, not at all. We used 22 gauge sheet metal, which if we did it again, I would have used a lower gauge, so it was a little more sturdy and rigid. We ended up getting a lot of kind of bows and bubbles in it. That was also due to our lack of experience as far as just installing it and making sure we were drilling in the right places. Sheet metal comes in 4-foot by 10-foot sections, so I figured for cost reasons we could do big 10-foot long sections that span the length of the bus and save some money. That ended up being a poor choice. It didn't work all that well. We had weird overlaps. What we should have done is had individual panels that just went between the 2 ribs and then just did section after section. That would have worked a lot better.
So obviously roof raises in the Skoolie community aren't that popular, so you're probably wondering why we even decided to do it. The first reason is we were lucky enough to go to a tiny home convention and get to walk through about 6 buses, and 2 of which had roof raises, and it was mind-blowing how much of a difference it made compared to the buses that weren't raised. We're also tall people, and Colin's head was almost hitting the roof in the very center already. So raising the roof was really important for us to have a comfortable living space.
We also have an international rear engine bus, and if you've ever seen one, they have this huge engine compartment in the back that raises up about 4 feet. So if we wanted to use that space at all, we needed to lift the roof up so we could build on top of the engine.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below if you have any questions. Hopefully we can answer them because, again, we're not professionals, and I think we only lucked out with a successful race.
So you have to choose. Great job by Oakland. Getting up on Chris, first down in 2 weeks. Feels like a month for those guys. I promise. What?